All right, everybody, thanks for jumping on this morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I am going to go through a presentation that we were in while we were at Boomtown Unite last week or 2 weeks ago. And I thought it was really helpful and kind of eye-opening on some things, and it really helped me see things a little bit differently. It heard some things that I had not heard before regarding posting in social media and stuff. So bear with me while I walk through this PowerPoint that's not mine, but he was nice enough to share the link to it with everybody. And I think there's some really good information in there. Feel free to interject with questions or examples that you've used too as we're going through it, okay? Let's see, as you probably saw, the kind of the theme of this one is you're not making enough content, right? And I know that we talk about social media a lot. I challenged everybody this past weekend to post a video, and several people did, and I thought that was great. And I'm very appreciative for the folks that did do that, because it puts you out there. And if you're going to become a resource and someone that somebody thinks of when they hear people talking about real estate, to give your name out, the only way you're going to do that is by staying constant and front of mind. And we live in a society which very fortunately gives us social media and the opportunity to do that. Raise your hand if you've gotten a lead from someone that you hadn't talked to, interacted with in years, and they contacted you through social media. Anyone? Janine, no? No? Okay, well, you're not posted enough. How about that? We're going to change that today. All right, Nate, I know you have to have, but let's keep rolling with it. So this is really about multiplying your marketing, and we're going to talk about how we do it in a couple of different ways. If you ever want to check this guy out, he was fantastic. Good energy, really in-depth and thorough of how he explained it. His name is Jason Pantana. Brandon speaks highly of him. He's watched several of his things. He's one of Tom Ferry's coaches. And of course, everybody in real estate should know who Tom Ferry is. He's one of the biggest coaches in the whole industry. So marketing without content is like having a bow with no arrows, or maybe something that will better resonate with Nate, it's a gun with no shells, right? What are you doing? You're not firing anything out there. You have the vehicle. Social media is your vehicle. It's your bow to market with, but your ammunition is your content. And you're not going to strike if you're not using any ammunition, right? If you don't have any content. So let's talk about how we do that. The theme on social media now is video. Everything that can be video will be video. Pictures are great, graphics are fantastic, but people will scroll right past that, right? They will keep going. What will get people to stop and look and watch is a video. So you need to start thinking about how you can incorporate video into your regular social media posts. What business are we in? The relationship business, right? That's what we focus on. That's what we talk about. That's what we seek to build. Provide value, build relationships, get that trust. Why would people choose us? What makes us stand out? How are we different than one of the other tens of thousands of real estate agents in North Carolina? That's the focus behind all of this. Your social media is your avenue to show who you are to folks who are out there watching. And I promise you, they might not like your posts. They might not comment on your posts. They are watching everything that you post. And you will find out when someone reaches out to you, and they will. So how recognizable is your brand? Our brand as the Oceaneer Realty has been around for several years now. I feel like it's relatively recognizable, right? How recognizable is your individual brand as a real estate agent, though? Do people think of you as a real estate agent? When you meet with people, do they ask you about real estate? Does the topic ever come up? Or do you talk about everything but real estate? So we're going to talk about content. The first is content avalanche. And this was really eye-opening to me, what they suggest as far as number of content. But first, understanding video is vertical. And why is that? Why is that? Because everybody's watching video on what? Their phones, right? People aren't watching video this way unless they're at home on their couch, and that's if they're not looking at their phone. People are watching video on their phone while they're at a stoplight, or while they're at their kids' practice, or while they're in line at the grocery store, or while they're waiting for the doctor, or whatever. People are watching it on their phone. So first and foremost, you need to be prepared to film the right way, right? So here are some top videos to make. Easy ideas. All you have to do is the content. You don't even have to come up with the idea. First of all, a talking head. Video, camera, right in front of your face. You're talking about market news. What's going on with the news? Tips for your home, tips for buying, advice for keeping up your home, advice for a home search, advice for the process of buying. You can extrapolate one of the 10 steps from our buyer strategy session, and that's 10 different videos. You could do a series. Hey guys, over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to introduce you to the home buying process. And every day I'm going to do one step from the process. And then boom, every day you do a 30-minute or a 30-second video that explains one of the 10 steps that's outlined in the home buying process in the buyer seller strategies or buyer or seller strategy session. And so you could do the buy side and then you could do the sell side. And that's a month's worth of content that all you have to do is put the camera in front of you and read the stuff we've already built. And then add some personality and a little bit of fun stuff in there. Any other ideas for what you could do or what you have done? Come on, speak up. Tell me what you've done.
I've gone down to the beach.
Say that again, Holly.
I've gone down to the beach and showed the video of the moving sand.
Yes, I do remember that. That's great. And a lot of people are like, what's happening? Because if you don't live there,
It's
you
concerning.
haven't seen that in person. Yeah. So, I mean, it can start conversation. It gets people to stop and watch because it's not something they see every day, right? That's
Right.
exactly the type of thing. And it gives you the opportunity to explain about renourishment and those type things or whatever, right? Janine, did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you're changing seasons, you can talk about maintenance of your home during the season.
100%. 100%. The newsletter is going to go out here in a couple of days. I was working on it last night. Every time there's an article in there relating to the market or something about homes, this one is going to be about buyer activity ramping up. So that's a good opportunity to explain that to sellers. Hey, you've been in your house a while, you're thinking of upsizing or downsizing. Now's a good time to think about selling because buyer activity has ramped back up. It was slower at the beginning of the year. People were adjusting to the rates, but now things have changed. We've seen a shift. Activity is ramping back up. Anything, really. That's the thing. Content is literally at your fingertips every day. You just have to take a moment to stop and collect it, honestly. I don't know if you guys saw my video that I posted over the weekend from my listing where I was in front of it and the phone fell over while I was doing it in the middle of it. I didn't reshoot it. I just kept going with it because I'm not out for perfection, and you shouldn't be out for perfection either. You don't need to do 15 takes to get the right video. Hammer it out, get the content out. My non-perfect video is going to be way more effective than the video you don't do. Right? So get the content out there. All right. Step 2. What do people do when they're scared? They fight or they flight, right? So don't be scared of this. Just go do it. Pro tips. An example is, here's another example of this lady. Brand yourself as, Janine's tips for home ownership or whatever, or Janine's tips to get you in your home. Make it fun, make it something that you can brand and something that you can do on a weekly basis, right? So people start to expect it. That's how you build a following. You're consistent putting out content, brand it as such, and then people will begin to look for it because they'll get used to seeing it. And then they'll start to expect it, right? And then they'll ask you, hey, I hadn't seen you do a video in a while. What happened? Oh yeah, I got to get back on that. Call to action is also a good one. That can be in a ton of different ways, but it could be about something local happening. Hey, we're coming up on the kickoff to XYZ. We'd love for you to get involved and support this. Doesn't have to be about real estate necessarily, right? Not everything you post should be about real estate. You're going to get what your content attracts. All right. So put out the kind of content for the kind of relationships you're trying to build, folks that you want to interact with. Number 2 top video to make. Local spotlights. Highlight your town. I know everybody's got their favorite coffee place, their favorite pizza place, their favorite date night place, your favorite salon, whatever it is. Highlight it. Take advantage of it. You'll make friends because you can tag them and they'll be appreciative, right? They'll recognize your brand. What do I always say? Make sure where you're spending money that they know what you do, right? Sell them to your sphere so they can sell you to their sphere, right? Highlights are great. Where's your favorite salty turtle place, right? Any of those things. And hey, it doesn't have to be in your hometown. Highlight other parts of North Carolina when you're out and about traveling. Highlight anywhere. Hey, this is our kid's 3rd time to Disney, whatever. It's so much different than it was when they were 4 and 2, now that they're 10 and 8 or whatever. Have you been to Disney? What's your favorite ride? Anything. You can literally, any aspect of your life you can put out there. And it doesn't have to be about real estate. It's about making people feel like they know you, right? And then that's halfway building the relationship for you. I went to an event the other night. I'm pretty sure I've never met the guy in person. Pretty sure. But we're friends on Facebook because we have mutual friends. I saw him looking at me when I was walking up to the event, and I'm like, I think I know who that guy is. But he was like, and I was like, okay. And then we got there and he was like, very gregarious and shaking my hand. He's like, Doug, hey man, what's up? It's so good to see you. I was like, hey, Brian, it's great to see you too. I'm pretty sure we've never met before. Or if we have, it was once or twice. But when you follow each other on social media and you interact with each other's posts, we're both NC State fans. So we're constantly, I see him like on NC State boards where he's liking and posting about cool stuff happening with the Wolfpack. And I'm liking the same thing and liking his comments and stuff. You're building relationships with people without ever seeing them face to face, or very rarely seeing them face to face. You have to be cognizant of that, right? This is what these tools allow you to do that. It builds familiarity. People feel like they know you. They know what you're about. They know your family. And that's a good thing because it raises their comfort level with knowing who you are and feeling like you're someone that they can trust when they have real estate things they need help with, or they know someone that they can recommend to you, right? Any examples of anything you guys have done with this recently?
I always like to remind people when I meet them in real life for the first time, like, this is our first time meeting. I've never actually met you.
That's
because
great.
I don't think that we think we know people all the time and we just don't.
That's 100% true. 100% true. One thing that Abby posts a lot about is her beach cleanup, that she's involved with. I think that is fantastic to let people know about causes that you care about and how you're involved in giving back to your community. People are definitely going to be a lot more likely to reach out to or want to work with someone who's putting that kind of great stuff out there and that they're making people aware of it. Hey, it's great that you're in real estate and you post about real estate all the time, but I don't want to just think about you as a real estate agent. Remember, that's the reason why we don't have separate real estate social medias, right? Because we don't want to just be seen as a real estate agent. We're people. We have families, we have friends, we have dogs, we do things outside of real estate. You share that with people because you're building a relationship and not even knowing it by putting that stuff out there. All right, let's keep going. This is a pretty cool stat to share. Right now, about 15% of content in a person's Facebook feed and a little more than that, their Instagram feed is recommended by AI from people, groups, or accounts that you don't follow. We expect these numbers to more than double by the end of next year. So what they're saying is the algorithm is changing. So more people that you don't know are going to see your content, right? And that's a good thing because that's more exposure for you and your personal brand, right? To begin building relationships with folks. And I know it kind of sounds maybe strange, but that's the way the world operates now. People are building relationships without ever meeting in person or really even interacting directly, right? Number three video, property tours, showing homes. You know, to Holly's example earlier, sometimes, you know, when you're on the beach, those are the best, right? Because you can walk right off the back porch and be like, man, it's a great day to show homes. Look at this weather. You're thinking about making your move down to the beach. Love to help you out because I know some great spots and I can't wait to hang out with you. I'll carry the chairs for you down to the beach. Anything like that, you know, have fun with it. You showing homes is a great way just to show what's out there too. Hey, you can get a XYZ for X amount in Sneads Ferry. Have you been looking lately? Have you been tracking what prices are? Anything like that. I advise you to, you know, check out your colleagues. Brandon has been doing a really great job with video since we got back from the conference. And he's so fancy, he's got captions running on his. You know, we can do another session where we can talk about actually not just the thought process behind doing them, but actually the work to do them. But start thinking about and generating some ideas of things that you can do. And more than anything, be aware of where you are in the moment because so many of those moments would provide 30 seconds worth of content. And that's your content for the day, right? Take advantage of it. Ball field, any of that stuff. It's a great way to sell your community. Hey, I love living here because we have such a passionate community for youth sports. And then show the dad getting kicked out or whatever. No, not that. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. All the families out at the ball field or whatever. Okay. You and listings, like I said, great. Of course, when you have your own listing, you should hit it in multiple ways. I always recommend and I did it myself this week when it first went live. I did the link on our website. That way, if people click and sign up, they're registered, right? So we're capturing leads that way. The next day, I posted a link to the Matterport tour so people could do the virtual walkthrough of the floor plan, right? And feel like they're doing a tour in person. And then the day after that, I did my video in front of the house. Now, we didn't do coming soon, so I didn't have any content really before we went live. Otherwise, I would have done a coming soon like teaser post, which some of you have done before too. And that's always a great idea to put stuff out there like that, not only for clients, but also for other agents, right? Because we know we're all being followed by other agents because we all follow other agents, right? Put that content out there because you never know. You never know who's watching, who might be like, oh, I've got somebody for that. And then they sidebar you about it. Hey, Janine, when's that thing going live? What's your list price going to be, right? I think I've got somebody that's been looking for exactly that. Put it out there. Put it out there. They also recommended getting one of those gimbals, which is kind of like a selfie stick, but one that keeps your phone level. So like it's on this, you've seen the coffee cups that go on your dash and like your coffee cup can't spill. Same thing with your phone. You can move the wand everywhere, but the phone stays level. So you can film yourself or whatever, like a selfie stick. They're about $100 on Amazon. I looked at them. But make sure you're always posting your listings. All right. Any questions about getting content out, ideas for what you can push out? Plenty of topics there, right? 3 different areas, endless options, right? Okay. The next is to talk about distribution and, algorithms. And I don't understand the algorithms by any means, but what we're trying to do is get your face and your posts in front of as many people as possible. And the way to do that is to post more. Now, there is a tipping point where if you're doing too much, your engagement goes down. So you can see here, engagement or fewer posts, reach rate 28 or 21% up to 27%, going from 1 to 20 posts, but your engagement rate drops slightly the more that you post. So it's about kind of finding this sweet spot in the middle. So for accounts with under 1,000 followers, they recommend posting 14 times per week. 14 times a week. That's twice a day. How long does it usually take when you make a social media post? How long does it take you to think about it, do it, type it, post it? Somebody give me an example.
Pending the type, it's different.
Yeah. Takes me a
Sometimes-
little while, like probably at least an hour to make sure it's what I want it to be.
Yeah, pending my audience and what I'm actually posting, but theoretically 5 minutes max.
Right.
All right, that's the answer I'm going for. Yeah, you put a lot of thought into it, but actually executing it shouldn't take very long, right? So 14 times a week delivers the highest reach and engagements per post. For accounts with over 1,000 followers, and you guys let me know when you get to 250,000, and then I'll get more information about how many times you should post. But until then, we'll just stay with this. Posting 14 or 20 times per week delivers the highest reach rate per post.
Hey,
Now,
Deb,
yeah,
I have a question.
yeah.
So is this data based off like a personal Facebook page, or if you were to brand it as the business Facebook page, which I know absolutely nothing about?
We're gonna, so it can be either one, really. Now, there are different trains of thought about how you should do your Instagram, because you can change your Instagram to a professional page, and they recommend you doing that. But your Facebook, it could just be your personal page.
Okay.
This is the whole title of what we're talking about, right? You're not making enough content. Do you feel like you're making enough content knowing that this is what they suggest to get the maximum engagement? Here's the thing. You probably think people don't want to see me every day. I don't want to post every day because people will get tired of seeing me. Well, here's the thing. Your mom might see your post every time you post. Nate's mom might see my post every time I post, and she does, and she's wonderful. But everybody in your feed is not seeing everything that you post. So if you're not posting multiple times, they're not seeing your content. So you've got to push out multiple pieces of content, okay? And it's not that you've got to, you get to. This is a completely free tool. All it takes is a little bit of thought and a little bit of action to make more content. So content avalanche, more ideas for content, for how to maximize what you're doing with it, okay? Bulk record. So he talked about this agent who will sit down once a month for a couple of hours and just pound out content. She'll plan in advance, 10 different topics, and spend a couple of minutes maybe talking about each topic, or just a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. And then you've got 10 or 20 reels, which is a month's worth of reels that you can post on your Instagram, on your Facebook, on your TikTok, on your Snapchat, wherever you want it to go, right? Making the most of that content. You're really feeding the machine. Chopping, another idea is to take these videos. So say you're sitting down and you're doing a longer video, and then rehashing that content into smaller posts. So perhaps you do a longer video, three minutes plus, And then you can chop that video up into different pieces, which gives you multiple pieces of content about the same topic. So to take our example from earlier, you could do a 5 to 10 minute video about the buying process sheet from the strategy session, right? Just do one thing about the whole thing, which you could save and email it to your clients, right? Folks that you're trying to engage with. Hey, I'm going to send you this so we can walk through this part of the buyer strategy session. Now, how about let's meet and go through the rest of it in person? So it's just like a teaser that you're sending them. But then if there's 10 pieces to the buyer seller or the buying process steps from the strategy session, you've got 10 posts where you could just clip each one of the 10, right? And then roll it out like we talked about over the span of 2 weeks. So you're not recreating the content, you create it once and then you repurpose it in different channels, in different ways. That's the long game. Now, some folks are also have their YouTube channel. I know Brandon, for his listing videos, he puts them on his YouTube channel. So they're there in posterity. People will find it, right? And they will be a resource for people. Some folks put a lot more effort into selecting their agents than others do. That's why we have Zillow reviews. That's why we encourage Google reviews, because people go and look and do their research before they call an agent, right? If you don't have that content online, they can't find anything about you. You're a secret agent. If that's somebody who wants to know something about their agent before they want to work with you and they can't find anything about you, they're going to go find somebody that they can find something about. So be aware.
I literally had a lead. She signed up on Boomtown. She was non-responsive to the drip. And then finally one day she reached out and she's like, I'm sorry it took me a while to get back to you. I was online Facebook stalking you to make sure that you were gonna be good. And she's like, I loved your feed and everything, and that's why I chose to call you back. I was like, oh, okay, noted.
100%. People are definitely doing that. Thanks for sharing that example. This is just talking about YouTube. I would suggest maybe you work up to YouTube. I would focus more on the short format stuff first. But if you do choose to create some long format stuff, you can break it up and repurpose it. Remember, do the long format thing and then break it into 10 different reels that you can push out. That's what this is about. Chop till you drop, chop till you drop. Take one video, chop it down into a bunch of different segments. The third, sampling. And I know we've all seen this, reacting to existing content. And it could be somebody making fun of something, or it can be somebody legitimately commenting on some news that came out. There's a green screen filter on Instagram. You can rip a copy of a news story or something and drop it in the background and then put yourself in front of it and then just respond to the article. And hopefully we'll have something cool that says mortgage rates are at their lowest since July 2022. And you can put that in the background and then you can comment on, hey, this has been a long time coming, but we are moving in the right direction. You know, now's the time to jump and see what happens, right? Anything, prices, any of those things. You can comment on literally anything, but comment on something. You know, share what's going on. You're an expert, right? That's why people come to you. So present yourself as an expert on a topic related to what you do, right? Really fun. Provide value, right? I love this. This kind of walks you through how to do this. Screen record a relevant news article on your phone or Android, I guess. Eye rolls. That was for Janine and for Nate. Launch your Instagram app, tap plus to start a reel, navigate your effects and search select green screen, tap and record your film clip, and then you can customize it with the background. So worth a shot. I think that's going to be my next adventure, is to try that one out. Drop something in the background. I got to find a good story to share. What do you sell? What are you selling? What do we sell? Don't say homes.
Ourselves.
There you
Ourselves.
go. That's right. Why are you different than any of the other 70,000 licensed people in North Carolina? Why is somebody going to choose you? Well, are they if you don't sell yourself? Put yourself out there. What value do you provide? Every lead that you can get and every referral that you can get from your social media is one that you don't have to convert through Boomtown. So keep that in mind. Every one of those makes Boomtown less important. Boomtown is super important, right? It's been the foundation of everyone's real estate career. Even if now you're working mostly on past clients and referrals, the genesis of that was, well, the first time they were clients, they were Boomtown lead, right? So don't forget the roots and how important it is for that foundational piece, which allows for the other stuff to come along and happen. The average social media user is active on 7 platforms. You got to be where the people are. Now, I think I saw Christina join. Christina, you still out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Y'all put your faces on. I know what your names are. Don't be afraid. I love the way you all look. I gave Christina some kudos last week because Christina was posted on LinkedIn, and you guys have heard me preach about LinkedIn. Why do I like LinkedIn? Who can tell me? Come on, guess.
Because people with jobs have LinkedIn.
That's exactly right, Ashley. They either have a job or they are looking for a job, and you need a job to buy a house. So to me, that seems like a pretty good place to talk about real estate, right? People who are thinking about jobs. So put it on there because that's your job. That's a great place to pay. That's what people are on there posting about, their work, right? So post about your work on there. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I tell you, the people that I see active on LinkedIn, I never see them on Facebook and Instagram. It is a completely different set of folks, the people who are active on LinkedIn. They are not active on the other social medias. And that's why the average social media, at least real estate agent, has to be active across different platforms, right? Because your audience isn't all in the same place. You got to be in different places. So make sure that you think about that. I'm not saying you have to do 7. I'm telling you what best practices are. And
I don't even know that I can name
if you're only
7.
posting on Facebook, it's not enough. And it's really easy to copy and paste and recreate the content on different platforms, right? And not every post you want to share on every platform. Some things are going to be specific for specific platforms, right? For specific audiences. You might have something that's kind of funny, maybe a little dirty or something. You might want to just keep that on Instagram so your mom or your grandma won't see it on Facebook, right? Know your audience, know what goes where, right? All right.
And this isn't referring at all to, sorry to jump in. This
No, go
isn't
ahead.
referring at all to stories, right? This is like on your grid.
Well, it could be, but yeah, this is basically talking about reels and posts. And because we're talking about video primarily, then it's reels, yeah. So just to give you an idea, if you couldn't even think of 7 different social media platforms, here's a couple just to give you an idea. You know, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, Google, your email, a blog, Snapchat, any of those things. SEO is social afterlife. What you're basically doing is putting up billboards that last forever when you're doing these posts, right? The more content you put out there, just pretend you're Pedro and you're going to build this place called South of the Border. And you're like, how can I get as many people to stop at South of the Border as possible? I've got a great idea. I'm going to put up 5,000 billboards between Lumberton and South of the Border, and then on the other side coming from South Carolina. And that little spot popped out of nowhere, and it's been there forever. And, you know, I gotta think 90% of that has to do with the redundancy of the billboards, right? You see something over and over and over, it's just there. When it comes time to it, you don't even have to think about it, right? This is the same thing. You're putting out the content so people see it, they digest it, and then when the time comes, they don't even have to think about it. You're already there. You're already there. You're the first thing that comes to their mind. You are there south of the border. You are their Pedro. But just because stuff lasts forever doesn't mean you can do one and just leave it there. You've got to constantly be adding new, fresh content to provide more value, to provide new value, right? This talks a little bit about what counts as a view. It depends on the platform. Here's the breakdown. TikTok, a view is basically an impression, meaning every millisecond your video starts is counted as a view. Instagram Reels apply the same measures as TikTok, only in Instagram, watching your own Reels actually influences the view count. So watch your own Reel, you know, say I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, man, I look good, I'm just gonna watch my Reel on loop all day. This is fun, right? I look great, I nailed that one. Instagram, IGTV, a view is counted after a video auto plays for 3 seconds consecutively. Replays don't count. The same viewer watching a video over and over. Facebook operates by the same rules and measures as Instagram, IGTV. Now that's like, I guess, the stories and not the reels. LinkedIn, my video says 2 seconds, so does the rest of the web. However, when it looks like it's 3 seconds now. YouTube counts view after 30 seconds of continuous viewing. So you can see the more long content the platform is, like YouTube, it has to be watched for a longer period of time, like the view, versus just 2 or 3 seconds on the other social medias. I can't play this video because it doesn't link. Chat GPT. What do you guys think about that? Who's used it since we talked about it in the group the other night? Janine? Yeah, I know Ashley has sneakily been using it and didn't even tell anybody.
I told them I used it in the office.
Oh, okay. You just kept it down there. Not fair.
I didn't share it with everybody, but yeah.
No worries. That's fine. Charles clued us in. I used it for my last listing. Now, I didn't use it word for word, but it gave me a good start and it gave me a good framework to build on. And that just keeps it fresh, so you don't recreate the same thing every time, right? Charles has been using it to respond to difficult objections he's getting from clients or leads in Boomtown. To literally just copy the question and say, what's the best response for this? He tried it out. It's really interesting. He says his engagement and responsive have gone up enormously. So when you're prospecting, you're going through that now wall or whatever, and you got emails on there and you've got objection after objection. You know, I'm just looking now, I'm not ready. Take that and plug it into Chat GPT and see what it spits out. And you see if you think that's worth sending back to those folks and how that might impact the conversation. Because what have you got to lose? Give it a shot. See what happens.
I wonder how like specific you can get with that as far as like, I don't know, demographics. Like if you, for instance, have somebody like that and you look them up or Facebook stalk them like I'm so fond of doing, and you see that they're, you know, I don't know, mid-60s, and they live in Chicago. Like if you put that in, I'm curious if it will give you like a more tailored response.
So
The more
Nate,
info it gives you, the more it can tailor it, or the more info you give it, the more it will tailor to your response.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to cut you off.
that's okay. It learns like, so if it writes a listing description and I'm like, hey, can you write that is I don't know, like I've told it to use more detail, or like, hey, that one actually did not have a fence, or X, Y, or Z. It'll rewrite the whole thing in a different tone. And then the same thing with the responses. Like sometimes it'll give you a really short response, and then I'll be like, could you elaborate on X, Y, or Z? And then it'll do that too.
Now, do they have is there, because I tried to see if there was an app for it, but I saw like a bunch of things that I don't know. They look similar, but I don't think they were ChatGPT.
I only ever use it on my computer, so I don't know about that.
You can just open it on your browser, Nate,
Cool.
and use it that way. That's how I have it on my phone. But to Ashley's point, to expound upon that a little bit, yeah, you can like give it more details, or say, now make it for a 50-year-old. Oh, also they like dogs, or they have 2 dogs, or something like that. And it will it can just update what it's already written with more details that you give it. It does, scarily enough, learn. All right. I don't think we're at the point where I'm not really overly concerned with your view count. It's more about, if you build it, they will come. Who likes Field of Dreams? So let's focus on the build part for now and the come part later. Paid amplification. Of course, you can sponsor stuff, or you can boost stuff. I'm sure everyone has seen that. That's completely up to you if you feel the need to do that on your own. You're trying to build your brand. If you want to invest in your brand, that is certainly up to you. Obviously, we're investing in team stuff because that's what we're pushing out, on our end. And of course, and several of you do a really good job of this, I think, repurpose the team's content. You can't post anything that day, you're too busy that day, repurpose the team's content. Whether it's somebody else's listing in your office, which is really easy to do anyways, because hopefully it will help you attract a buyer, right? But any of the stuff that we push out, that's there to make your job easier, and to give you something for that day if you can't pull something together that day, because I know we all have those days. But don't forget that too. Don't forget that the website is full of a blog that has great stuff that you can always pull from it. Don't forget that there's a newsletter that goes out every month that you can pull 1 or 2 things from every month individually and just repurpose without having to create the content on your own. Take advantage of what's around you to make it easier. Go in ChatGPT and say, give me a real estate post for today about interest rates, and see what pops up.
There you go.
Go in and post, why should I sell my home in 2023, and see what pops up. Go in and post, tell me about the real estate market in North Carolina in April 2023, and see what pops up. You will get enough stuff that you can use. That's why I said when we first started that conversation in the group, there's no reason that you can't have content, because all you got to do is tell it what kind of content you want, right?
Just make sure that when you're posting your listings, though, that you do it properly and tag the team and all that stuff, because you need to be careful about the rules and everything. So don't
Anytime
just
that
like
you're posting-
randomly.
Yeah, anytime that you're posting anything about real estate, you have to identify your firm in the post. So make sure that you're doing that.
So this might be, I don't even know how to even word this correctly, but like with the ChatGPT, there's no like copyright issues with that, using it?
No, I mean, it's creating it right there. It's free use.
Wow.
It's not copyrighted.
And you can tweak it a little bit too, Holly. Like it'll put like
I feel better if I tweet
brackets.
it. Yeah.
It
And
has
you'll
like
want to.
brackets.
Yeah.
You're not going to use it. I doubt very seriously that you're going to use it completely verbatim, copy paste, but it can help you overcome thinking about maybe something you're struggling with for a response. And then just like the template emails that are in Boomtown that just give you a framework to plug, like the lender intro that, hey, plug in what's going on with your specific client in this part to give the lender info so they're better prepared to have a conversation with them. Same thing, just add your little piece, your little spin to the framework, and then boom, there you go.
Okay.
Holly, in my experience, you have to tweak it anyway because it'll say things like, "Oh, this peaceful neighborhood," and I'm like, I am not writing that. The last thing you want is set to say peaceful neighborhood, and then there's like 87,000 kids running around, and now
Right. There's
I don't want to
construction
be
happening right behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always have to go in there and look, and then it'll sometimes be like, "Oh, it has a beautiful formal dining room," and there's no dining room.
Right.
So you have to change some of it anyways.
Okay.
It, like Doug said, it really just gives you a really good,
It's not just
start.
copy paste.
I mean, you could copy paste it, but it
You-
just, it does not fit exactly what you're asking it to do.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just to recap the 3 videos: talking heads, local spotlights, property tours, right? And I would advise that, you can pin stuff to the top of your Instagram. You can pin a reel that you want there for an extended amount of time. You can also save them in groups, right? So make sure that you're aware of that. Retargeting.
I
This
have
is
a
just,
question,
yeah, go ahead.
just about like, are hashtags helpful and like maybe any hashtags anyone would use, like for the SEO, so you're showing up where you need to show up on people that you don't know. What kind of hashtags do you guys think are the most efficient or useful?
Doug's
Hashtag
got some
MC
for the-
Real Estate Nate.
Yeah. Doug's got some for the team that he wants us to use, like North Carolina, Triangle to the Coast, the Ocean Air Realty. And then I always, Brittany, will hashtag like first time home buyer or PCS or
Whatever
Sneeds
it's about.
Ferry. Hashtag Sneeds Ferry, hashtag the neighborhood, hashtag closed, hashtag under contract. And then I'll get like these random posts from companies, send your video, like whatever. So just make it relevant to the specific situation.
Okay.
Well,
But
because
there should be-
people are following different hashtags, right? So like I follow hashtag Raleigh on my Instagram. So I get posts from people, I have no idea who they are, but they're posting about Raleigh and they're hashtagging Raleigh. It's really, I would say more than anything, the location is the most important one, because if you're trying to be visible in an area, you need to hashtag that area. Whether you're showing, whether you're just talking about real estate, whether you're got somebody closed, pending, under contract, just listed, coming soon, any of that stuff, tie that together. So you've got what you do, right? The Ocean Air Realty, real estate, North Carolina, then the specific area, Sneeds Ferry, and then what you're doing then, under contract, just listed, buyer consult, any of those things. And then if you want to come up with your own tag, so you can find your own individual content, right? Because if you go click on those tags, you can search anyone and see all the posts that have that tag, right? And then if you want to go see your own, like Nate can go click on and see Real Estate Nate and see all the tags, all the posts he's tagged that way.
Yeah.
And anyone can too.
Yep.
I was
Nate,
also gonna say there's a sweet spot. I don't remember. I'll have to look back and see where I saw it, but there's like a sweet spot too as far as how many hashtags to have, because you can have too little and you can definitely have way too many. I've seen ones where you get halfway through and you're like, I'm not reading all these. But I think if I remember correctly, I think between 9 and 11 is like the sweet spot of having hashtags.
I just wanted to add that I believe the only way to get noticed with your hashtags is if your profile is public. So that's something to keep in mind. Like your hashtags
Oh yeah.
you won't go on
Yeah.
other people's feeds unless your profile is public. And then I was gonna say that I just copy everything that Brandon does. So you should go look at Brandon's and Stephanie's, and then
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to have to really think about most of this stuff. And it couldn't be more apparent than the fact that I'm using a PDF of a slideshow from a guy that I've never met in person, right? But it's good content. When I worked in higher ed, we had a conference every year. It was called the CASE Conference. It stood for the Council in Support of Education, but everybody just called it copy and steal everything. You know, we're not reinventing the wheel here, folks. We don't have to rediscover fire. You just got to start your own fire, right? You already have the tools, you just got to do it. So what stops you from making video? Let's hear your excuses.
I saw this is so funny that this came up. I was scrolling through Instagram yesterday and I saw a video. Who's that guy? He drops the F-bomb all the time. Gary somebody.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary V.
Yeah. So he posted something yesterday about this and it's like, what's stopping you from making content? Well, I don't want to copy everything that's out there. Okay, so you're just going to let everybody else get the business if you don't copy it? You know, like you copying it is better than not copying it and let everybody else get the business. So I was like, oh man, that's a good point. Might as well copy it and get part of the pie.
100%. Brandon says this all the time, and it's 100% true. You all might follow 30 other real estate agents. That doesn't mean your sphere is following 30 other real estate agents. They're not all inundated with real estate content like you are. Don't think that they don't want to see content because you see a lot of content, right? Follow those other people and steal what they're doing and do it in your own way for your people and your audience.
I
Who
think
cares?
it's
Be
hard to get
shameless
over
about
the
it.
shyness.
99 out of 100 times, these people stole it from somebody else. And you can take people doing it about other industries and repurpose it. What were you saying, Christina?
I was gonna say, like, I get shy. Like, I put the camera up and I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to myself, or like, oh, I'm embarrassed that I'm gonna post this. Stuff like
Who
that.
gives a shit?
But you know what? That gets, after you do it so often, that goes away. It just becomes normal. So the best way to get over it is through repetition.
Just
You're
get
I
not
did
started
my
doing
first
it.
video like 14 times, I think. It took so long, and I don't know. People must have thought I was crazy standing out on their beach porches and like watching me just, nope, now I'm walking back again.
And you're gonna just accept that you're gonna screw it up sometimes. And it's like what Doug said earlier is like, big deal. You know, we're not professional, you know, photographers, and we're not professional, like, what do you call them? Influencers. So it's gonna be rough, but it's still better than not doing it.
And people don't want to see you be stiff and 100% businesslike. They want to see you like you're another person, just like they are, right? So you can provide great knowledge without being stuffy about it. Have fun with it. You know, that
Yeah,
will
I've definitely
resonate.
had rough videos.
What'd you say, Nate?
I said I've definitely had some rough videos.
It's okay. Don't be
Yep.
too critical of yourself. It's all right. Just put it out there and do it. I promise you won't regret it.
I did the same thing. I had an open house last weekend, and when I tell you I recorded at least 15 videos because I could not get the right. I said, the word beautiful 500 times in a row. And when I rewatched, I thought I was so stupid. And, I think I toured that house by myself maybe 20 times just trying to get the right thing. And, at the end of the day, at the end of 15 to 20 takes, I was like, this is ridiculous. Just nobody's going to care as you do about how many times you said this word or whatever. Just post it. They'll appreciate the information. And so, and now I have a whole lot of different content about one house I can put out. But it was helpful for me to come to that realization so that, nobody's going to care that you said this word or had this one little glitch in your video because they don't know what you were trying to reach for, as long as you get your objective reached in the messaging.
Christina, you'll literally go from, Ricky Bobby going like, I don't know what to do with my hands, to I wake up in the morning and piss excellence. It's just repetition.
That is a great way to sum it up.
That's awesome, Nate.
And Zach, good point about what you made. It's just about being comfortable with yourself, right? And realizing that, hey, honestly, people are going to resonate to it a lot more if you just seem like you're relaxed and calm than if it seems like something can be too polished, right? So that's a great point. Also, I'm sorry you keep getting stuck behind utility trucks. This is Jason Pantana. If you want to go find him and add him to your follow list so you can copy and steal more stuff, this is the link to this slideshow. If you want to revisit it, it's just jasonpantana.com hashtag or not, /Unite23. I'm going to add this to our stuff so we can repurpose it later. But that's really it. I encourage you guys to be vigilant about looking for content and realize that almost everything you do every day is potential content, right? So just be aware of that and take advantage of it so you don't have to think about creating content. You're already creating content. You just need to package it, capture it, package it, and put it online. So figure out how you can do that. All right, I'm challenging everyone on here to do a video today, and I want to see it on Facebook at minimum. So, if your hair's not where you want your hair to be, go get your hair where you want it to be and get out there, Janine, and make it happen. Or just go with it because, hey, everybody is doing this thing. We're all
Because real estate agents work from home with messy buns.
That's right. So showcase it. Hey, this is the unglamorous side, but this is how you make the donuts, folks. Right?
Oh, man.
Go have fun.
My hair's never where I want it to be.
Exactly.
Not
Have fun with it.
anymore.
Nate, I was outside showing houses. Look, wind wreaked havoc on my hair, but I'm doing the video anyways, right? Here I am, all my
When you
glory.
have it on your beard.
That's right.
Oh, God.
I hope this was helpful for you guys. This is not to add another thing to your plate. This is to give you, to circle back to the very beginning, another bow for your quiver, to help you be more effective, to reach more people, to get more of those SOI and referral leads, and to help build your individual brand with the company brand to bring more success for you and to help you accomplish your goals and have some fun with it at the same time, because that's what we're all about, right?
Can you add your
Your
fancy
participation.
to the website that we can just order with a discount?
Oh, I didn't see selfie sticks on the swag website. I'm sorry.
You should add them.
But if you, I would recommend, checking out Amazon if you want to get one of those gimbal things. Those are really cool. I thought about maybe getting one of those. They look pretty fancy, but they have cheaper options too. So might just kind of do that to begin with. And also, I want you guys to know that I'm making advantage of my ring light today. So hopefully I showed up a little bit better on video than usual. And I know that there are ring lights in each office, in each conference room. So lighting shouldn't be an excuse.
Well, we need Abby there to help us.
All you gotta do is plug it in and then prop up your phone on your laptop and film something. You can do it. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Go do something with it. Have a great day and have a great prospecting day tomorrow. Holler if you need me.
Bye.
Bye.